Candidates for Alliance presidency announced. The candidates in the Alliance presidential election have been announced. Political journalist Vanya Driscoll shared the news in the Alliance Tribune. The candidates running against President Gibson Kincaid, who is seeking a second term, have now launched their campaigns. Fazia Silva is a successful entrepreneur from the VAM system. Although lacking political experience, she intends to leverage her business acumen to increase trade and boost economies throughout the alliance. She has delegated control of her corporate empire to her sister, freeing her to run for office. Elijah Beck, by contrast, is a highly experienced politician. Hailing from the Leasty system, he has served in the Assembly for over 4 decades. He is generally considered a safe pair of hands, but it's unlikely that he would bring about any significant changes as president. Recent polls suggest that Kincaid, Silva and Beck are roughly equal in terms of popular support, but it's still early days. All three will vigorously campaign for support in the coming weeks, in advance of the public vote on Tuesday the 16th of October. Investors abandon Herculean machines. An anonymous source has revealed that Maddox Hurd, owner of technology company Herculean Machines, was previously investigated by the Federal Security Service. The source shared recently declassified FSS records on the Rewired News channel, and stated, "When establishing Herculean 5 years ago, Maddox Hurd accepted financial contributions from individuals connected to organized crime networks, such as the Red Family. While Hurd did not technically break the law, the FSS has kept a close eye on him ever since." In the wake of this news, a number of Herculean Machines corporate investors withdrew their support. Maddox Hurd told the media, "This is a smear campaign, and those underhanded snakes at Supertech are behind it." Scorpio Devoro, CEO of rival company Supertech, declined to comment, but Harlow Nasri, technology journalist at the Federal Times, observed, "With Herculean Machines losing investment and Supertech's facility destroyed, both companies are in a compromised position. Unless they can drum up additional support, neither will be able to unveil their new designs at the Rackham Ultratech Expo in October." Alliance Gala Initiative concludes. The Alioth Independence has announced that its appeal for exotic food and drink has reached a successful conclusion, having received an overwhelming response from the galactic community. Huge quantities of Esuseku caviar, ceremonial Hikiti and live Hecade sea worms were delivered to Smith Landing over the past week, which will now be used to host their gala event. With the initiative at an end, Jurian Ballas, chairman of the Alioth Independence, issued the following statement. "This will be an event like no other, and we are proud to be introducing Fazia Silva and Elijah Beck to the galactic stage. Along with Gibson Kincaid, I'm sure they will soon do battle in a good-natured yet robust
Landing gear retracted.
Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their rewards from Smith Landing, in the Amber system. Manatee Megaship Initiative. The Libertas Cooperative has announced plans to construct a manatee farm on behalf of food supplier München Manatee Meat. This will take the form of a megaship, where the creatures will be bred, processed and prepared for distribution. Progenitor Selena Conley of the Libertas Cooperative issued the following statement. "For years, the people of München have been lucky enough to dine on the finest meat in the galaxy. We are proud to be working in association with München Manatee Meat to help bring their product to a much wider consumer base. To facilitate construction of the manatee farm, the Libertas Cooperative has placed an open order for land enrichment systems, animal monitors, aquaponic systems and marine equipment. It promises to reward
Frameshift drive charging.
pilots who deliver these commodities to Okrinox's orbiter in the München system. The organization has also placed a kill order on all ships on its wanted list, to ensure that those contributing material can do so.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Go safely. The campaign begins on the 13th of September 3304 and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Calls to execute Fargod worshippers. Juanita Bishop has called on federal Congress to make
Fuel scooping.
Argoid worship a capital crime, and for all members of the Far God cult to be
Incoming mission critical message. Fused. Disengaged.
addressing a rally during her congressional campaign. Mrs. Bishop stated, I speak for all those who live in fear of Thargoid infiltration. If elected, I will make sure this foul cult is outlawed and all its followers put to death. Congress has a duty to protect families from these alien-loving collaborators. Vihan Neven, an independent political analyst, commented, Juanita Bishop's statement has triggered considerable debate in Congress. Some congressmen have aligned with her, eager to be seen as tough on the Argoids. But others have criticized Mrs. Bishop for her inhumane rhetoric and for proposing the execution of federal citizens without trial. Meanwhile, the Federal Intelligence Agency continues to arrest adherents of the Thargoid sect and detain those who have had contact with them. As casualties from the Thargoid conflict mount, it's hard to see this most unlikely of faiths surviving much longer. The XG Project. Interview with independent media outlet Vox Galactica, engineer Antar has discussed the XG project.
Lakon Golf Romeo 8, you may access this station by submitting a prior request.
Incoming mission critical message.
Which produced the recently released XG fighters. Ever since the first Guardian ruins were discovered, I've been...
Approval granted. Plot route for approach to landing pad 2-4.
trying to combine their technology with our own. I drew up a blueprint for the original fighter, the XG-1. before inviting other technicians to refine the design with a view to producing something commercially viable. The seventh iteration, the XG-7, successfully merged human and Guardian ingenuity. The
4,000 meters from touchdown.
P-8 Javelin and XG-9 Lance soon followed. When asked what the future holds, Ramtar remarked, "My hope is that the XG project is merely the start of a whole new era of technological development. While the current focus is the Thargoid threat, the achievements of our galactic forebears might one
Landing gear deployed.
improve every aspect of society." Week in review. Here are this week's major
Continue on approach.
stories. The Alliance Assembly has agreed to vote on President Gibson Kincaid's proposed changes to the Constitution. Kincaid has lobbied for the role of president to be invested with executive powers, and for each presidential term to last 6 years. The vote will take place in mid-October, at the same time as the presidential election. A manufacturing complex owned by computer company Supertech has been destroyed by fire. All personnel managed to escape the blaze, but the fire has ruined the company's main production complex. Company CEO, Scorpio Devoro, expressed incredulity at the failure of the facility's fire suppression system. Meanwhile, the Federal Intelligence Agency has increased
Landing completed. Engaging docking restraints. Station facilities are at your disposal.
arrests of potential Thargoid sympathizers, as it continues to investigate the Thargoid cult. Independent observers have confirmed that the FIA has discovered further empty Thargoid hive chapels. The whereabouts of hundreds of adherents remains unknown. The Gnosis, flagship of the Canon Interstellar Research Group, has been left stranded following a Thargoid attack. A message from the ship's command crew confirmed that the incident caused severe internal damage to multiple systems, including the frame shift drive. The Gnosis is currently adrift close to the 8th planet of the UDOT's STI D96 system. In other news, the Mars Tribune has revealed that actor Thomas Turai, husband of Jupiter Rochester, has been having an extramarital affair with Olympian athlete Reagan Lord. Thomas Turai and August Lord, husband of Reagan Lord, have both announced their intention to sue the Tribune for defamation. The publication's owner, billionaire Kingsley Cordova, has confirmed that he will cover all legal costs in contesting both civil actions. Finally, a public appeal for Thargoid materials from the Thargoid sect has been enthusiastically received by the galactic community. Chancellor Regan Tanner, speaking on behalf of the organizing faction, said the success of the initiative was a victory for religious freedom. And those are the main stories this week. Fire destroys Supertech facility. A manufacturing complex owned by computer company Supertech has been destroyed by fire. All on-site personnel managed to escape the blaze without injury. Emergency crews were soon in attendance, but were unable to prevent the fire from swiftly consuming the facility. Supertech CEO Scorpio Devoro made this statement. "I regret to announce that the fire has ruined our main production complex. Dozens of prototype torque units were also irreparably damaged. This is a severe setback in the development of our new design. Investigators have been unable to pinpoint the cause of the blaze, or to explain why the fire suppression system in our state-of-the-art complex malfunctions so completely, along with the security cameras, internal alarms and thermal sensors." Maddox Hurd, head of rival company Herculean,
Ship is disengaged from landing pad
"I'm
to
glad
pad
to hear
safely
that
from the
everyone made
station.
it out okay. But I have to say, if Supertech's facilities are that poorly designed, I'd hate to imagine what their products are like. Both companies are due to unveil new personal computing devices at the Rackham Ultratech Expo in October, although it is now unclear if Supertech will take part in the trade show. Thargoid sympathizer arrests increase. The Federal Intelligence Agency has increased arrests of potential Thargoid sympathizers, as it continues to investigate the Thargoid cult. Independent reporter Gethin Okonkwo, who first raised awareness of doomsayer cults in the core systems, has been reported missing and is assumed to have been arrested. Many others who were researching the Thargoid sect remain in custody, including leading exotheologian Dr. Alfred Alienov. The FIA has also shut down the Galactic Interfaith Commune and apprehended its spokesperson,
Frameshift drive charging.
Dr. Jamie Le Griffin. Several similar organizations, including the Spiritual Freedom Movement, have been closed down. Independent observers have confirmed that the FIA has discovered further empty
Four, three, two,
God Hive chapels. The whereabouts of hundreds of adherents remains unknown. In an effort to uncover clues, arrests of associates and family members of Far God worshippers has intensified. Senior Agent Mr. Whitefield gave a brief statement. We will leave no stone unturned in our mission to identify
fuel scoping.
Argoid influences. The disappearance of Far God chapters is clearly a coordinated
Fuel scoping complete.
operation of either human or alien design. We warn anyone who may be harboring cult members that they are impeding a federal investigation and will face criminal charges. Far God campaign concludes. LHS 2541 Alliance Combine has announced that its request for Thargoid materials for the Far God sect has been enthusiastically received by the galactic community. Hundreds of pilots supported the campaign by delivering commodities to Wheelock Ring in the Zavicha system, and by eliminating agitators in Zavicha, thereby ensuring the safety of traders contributing to the initiative. Chancellor Regan Tanner, speaking on behalf of LHS 2541 Alliance Combine, released the following statement. We would like to thank those pilots who delivered Thargoid materials, thus contributing to the furtherance of religious freedom throughout the galaxy. At this point we would also like to address rumors that the Far God sect is experimenting on willing test subjects in the hopes of ascending to a higher form of life. We assert, in the strongest of terms, that this is baseless gossip. Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their rewards from Wheelock Ring, in the Zavicha system. Alliance Presidential Gala. The Alioth Independence has announced plans to host a gala event in the Alioth system, to officially begin the Alliance presidential election. The event will give the as yet unannounced presidential candidates an opportunity to meet distinguished figures from among the upper echelons of Alliance society. Jurian Ballas, chairman of Alioth Independence, issued the following statement. Everyone's heard of President Gibson Kincaid, but the other candidates may not be so well known. This will be their chance to shine. As well as hosting key members of the Alliance Assembly, we can also confirm that Prime Minister Redmond Mahone and 3 members of the Council of Admirals will be in attendance. To make this a truly spectacular event, the Alioth Independents have placed an open order for Esuseku caviar, ceremonial Hiki tea and live Hikatesi worms, promising to reward pilots who deliver these commodities to Smith Landing, in the Amber system. The organization has also placed a kill order on all ships on its wanted list, to ensure that those contributing material to the campaign can do so safely. The campaign begins on the 6th of September 3304 and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Assembly to vote on proposed changes. The Alliance Assembly has agreed to hold an internal vote on President Gibson Kincaid's proposed changes to the Constitution. Kincaid has lobbied for the role of President to be invested with executive powers, and for each presidential term to last 6 years. Prime Minister Redmond Mahone told the media. After much discussion, the Assembly has agreed to vote on President Kincaid's proposals in mid-October, at the same time as the presidential election. We will announce any amendments to the Constitution shortly afterwards. Milo Vesper, editor of the Alliance Tribune, discussed this development. President Kincaid's proposals are seen by some as a long overdue restructure of the political system. Compared to the current bureaucratic procedure, having a single person make all executive decisions has an obvious appeal. But some in the Assembly are concerned that such changes could imbue the President with emperor-like levels of authority. Prime Minister Mahone is playing down such fears, but the words constitutional crisis have already been heard in Parliament. Whatever happens, this could be the most significant election in the Alliance's history. Gnosis stranded. A scientific research vessel has been left stranded following a Thargoid attack. The Gnosis, flagship of the Canon Interstellar Research Group, recently made a hyperspace jump towards the...
Blake Golf, Romeo 8. Federal Flight Control Channel open. Observe docking protocols if you wish to land.
Moon Sector, FNJ, B90 system. A short time later, the following message was...
Permission authorized. You are clear for approach to pad 10.
received T.S. Leander of the Gnosis command crew. We were a short way into our journey when the Gnosis was hyperdicted by a group of Thargoid vessels. The wrench back into real space caused severe internal damage to multiple systems, including the frame shift drive. There's no doubt that we would have been destroyed if not for some of the commanders traveling with us. They lured the Thargoids away while ejecting meta-alloys from
4,000 meters from touchdown.
their holds. The aliens were more interested in scooping up the meta-alloys than attacking us. The commanders later reported that the Thargoid vessels were the recently identified Hydra interceptors. The new
Landing gear deployed.
This is currently adrift close to the 8th planet of the UDOT's STI D96 system. We have begun essential repairs, but there is a risk that the Thargoids may return before we can escape the system. Scandal hits Rochester family. The famous actor Thomas Turai, husband of Jupiter Rochester, has been revealed to be having an extramarital affair with an Olympian athlete. An article in the Mars Tribune stated, "For the last 3 years, Thomas Turai has conducted a secret relationship with Reagan Lord, who has won several Olympic gold medals for the Altair system. A romantic liaison took place without the knowledge of Turai's husband, Jupiter Rochester, or their
Landing successful. Thrusters offline. Deploying ground services. This facility is on high alert, Commander. Security level Alpha is in effect.
children. There has been no response from Jupiter Rochester. The Rochester family is currently in a media lockdown following the cancelled wedding of Ambassador Jordan Rochester and Princess Aisling Duval. But Thomas Turai and August Lord, husband of Reagan Lord, have both announced their intention to sue the Mars Tribune for defamation. The publication's owner, billionaire Kingsley Cordova, has confirmed that he will personally cover all legal costs in contesting both civil actions. Lana Sigrid, chief editor of the Mars Tribune, published this comment: "We have an obligation to publish the truth wherever we find it. The detailed evidence we've obtained about Thomas Turai's behavior is beyond dispute. We employ the finest journalists in the Federation, and our soaring subscription figures prove we've earned the public's trust." Starport status update. This report presents the latest data on starports experiencing technical issues as a result of Thargoid sensor-related interference. The following starports are currently closed: Abeti Platform, Ross 1051, George Lucas, Leasty, Napier Station, HIP 94863, Shaviano Dock, Happets, Sinisalo Holdings, HIP 19305.
Landing gear retracted.
Wanted. Meanwhile, the following starports are on the brink of closure: Alexandria Dock, Shinab, Alexeyev Hub, HIP 36485, Extra Refinery, Azrael, Matheson Prospect, 45 Tori, Rondalm Bear Lab, HIP 88595, Wheelock Ring, Zavicha. Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. Independent pilots have engaged a previously unseen type of Thargoid vessel in both the Pleiades Nebula and the core systems. Admiral Aidan Tanner, Aegis's chief military liaison, confirmed that the new ship, classified as the Hydra, is a variant of the Thargoid Interceptor. Federal President Zachary Hudson has announced that Aegis Core is to relocate from Socho to the federal home system of Seoul.
Frameshift drive charging.
The move is a response to the criminal occupation of the Socho system, which led to the temporary immobilization of Aegis's Eagle Eye network, a system of orbital installations designed to determine potential Thargoid attack.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Sites. Engineer Ramtal has detected unusual energy signatures in the NGC 2451A sector, the IC2391 sector and the Sinuefi-NH region. While the precise nature of the signals is unclear, Ramtar has encouraged independent pilots to investigate.
Fuel scooping.
In other news, the Colonia Council has announced that 4 engineers have established
Incoming mission critical message. Fuel
bases in the Colonia
disengaged.
region to provide services to independent pilots. According to a statement, the Council consulted with engineers in the core systems to identify individuals who could offer similar services in Colonia. The date of Princess Aisling Duval's wedding to Federal Ambassador Jordan Rochester has passed without comment from either party.
prior
While
to
Emperor
wedding.
Orissa and President Hudson are thought to be pleased with the cancellation of the wedding, the silence from Aisling Duval.
Approval granted. Plot route for approach to landing pad 2-4.
And Jordan Rochester leaves questions about the legitimacy of their relationship unanswered. Maddox Hurd, owner of Herculean Machines, has publicly dismissed the efforts of rival company Supertech. Mr. Hurd denounced the idea of wearable devices as ridiculous, prompting Supertech CEO Scorpio Devoro to describe him as a man of limited imagination. Meanwhile,
Attention, there are speed restrictions in this area.
President Gibson Kincaid has begun lobbying to invest the position of president with executive powers. He has also said that the incumbent should remain in office for 6 years, instead of a maximum of 2 one-year terms. Prime Minister Redmond Mahone has voiced his
Landing gear deployed.
opposition to the proposal. Juanita Bishop, a leading campaigner against the Fargod cult, has announced that she is running for federal Congress. Mrs. Bishop's vocal condemnation of Thargoid worship has gained her a strong following in many federal systems. She is now campaigning to be elected to
Continue on approach.
Congress as an independent candidate. In related news, the Fargod sect has issued a public request for Thargoid materials. It is understood that the objects will be revered as objects of worship, and will not be used in any xenobiological experiments. Finally, authorities in the Betel system have confirmed that the conflict between Betel Free and the Silver Creative Network has come to an end. Both factions received support from independent combat pilots, to whom generous rewards were promised, but ultimately there could be only one victor. It is hoped that the cessation of hostilities will preface a period of
Landing completed. Ground crew dispatched. Enjoy your stay with us.
peace. And those are the main stories this week. Alliance President proposes changes. Alliance President Gibson Kincaid has confirmed he will campaign for re-election in October. Addressing the media, President Kincaid also said he wanted to make significant changes to the Alliance Constitution. The role of Alliance President is largely ceremonial. I believe that should change. I have been lobbying to invest the position with executive powers, over and above the Prime Minister and the Assembly. By streamlining our bureaucracy, we can make decisions as efficiently as the other superpowers. I also believe that each presidential incumbent should remain in office for 6 years, instead of a maximum of 2 one-year terms. That will allow time to renegotiate diplomatic relationships and correct past mistakes. Gibson Kincaid was the governor of the Zéancé system before assuming the presidency in 3303. He has repeatedly claimed that the alliance is failing to fulfill its true potential. Prime Minister Redmond Mahone responded, "Our constitution has served us well for decades and I see no reason to amend it. Its system of checks and balances exists to prevent any individual from becoming too powerful and destabilizing the alliance. The other presidential candidates will be announced within the next 2 weeks." Computer designers' rivalry escalates. Maddox Hurd, owner of Herculean Machines, has publicly dismissed the efforts of rival company Supertech. Both companies are currently developing new computer designs. Mr. Hurd referred directly to Supertech's forthcoming product, the Talk, while addressing the media. There's a reason Herculean has never explored the concept of wearable devices.
Ship is
It's a
disengaged
ridiculous
from landing
idea.
pad. Your
I
way
bet
is
a
clear
million
for
credits that
departure.
those fragile gizmos will break, or their holograms will start glitching, the moment you turn them on. If you want a reliable piece of tech, you need the Jura drive. Believe me, our device will keep on working whatever you throw at it, and even if you throw it. When invited to comment, Supertech CEO Devoro responded, "It's regrettable that those with a clear vision of the future are often denigrated by individuals of limited imagination. We offer an elegant and revolutionary approach to personal computing, not just a rubber brick with a screen. I'm sure customers will make the intelligent choice." Prototypes for both the Talk and the Jura Drive will be unveiled at the Rackham Ultratech Expo on Wednesday the 3rd of October. Fargod Campaign. The Thargoid worshipping sect that reveres an entity known as the Fargod, has issued a request for Thargoid materials.
Frameshift drive charging.
Chancellor Regan Tanner, speaking on behalf of LHS 2541 Alliance Combine, which is supporting the campaign, released the following statement. To maintain their privacy and avoid further persecution.
4, 3,
encouraged us to facilitate the collection of Thargoid materials. They have made it explicit that these materials will be revered as objects of...
Hyperspace contract. Cannot comply. Frameshift drive charging.
Xenobiological experiments. In the interests of religious freedom, we have decided to fulfill their request. In support of this campaign, LHS 2541 Alliance Combine has placed an open order for various Thargoid materials, and has promised to reward pilots who deliver these goods to Wheelock Ring in the Zavitra system. The organization has also placed a kill order on all ships on its wanted list, to ensure that those delivering commodities to Wheelock Ring can do so safely. The campaign begins on the 30th of August 3304 and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Conflict in Beta Lens. Authorities in the Betel system have confirmed that the conflict between the Silver Creative Network and Betel Free has come to an end. Both factions received support from independent combat pilots, to whom generous rewards were promised, but ultimately there could be only one victor. General Hollis of Betel Security had this to say: "Now this feud has been resolved, we will hopefully see a period of prolonged peace in the system." Pilots who participated in the conflict can now collect their rewards from Amperpolis in the Betel system. Juanita Bishop runs for Congress. Juanita Bishop, a leading campaigner against the Thargoid cult, has announced that she is running for federal Congress. Mrs. Bishop's vocal condemnation of Thargoid worship has gained her a strong following in many federal systems. She is now campaigning to be elected to Congress as an independent candidate. At a rally protesting against the Thargoid sect, Mrs. Bishop addressed the crowd. I may lack political experience, but I care about protecting decent families from alien-loving deviants. If you elect me to Congress, I will make sure our leaders rid us of the Thargoid spies undermining our great federation. Dr. Jamila Griffin, of the Galactic Interfaith Commune, made this response. Juanita Bishop is building her power base on the fear and paranoia that she herself has invoked. As has happened before, an innocent religion is being used as a scapegoat for society's ills. We should be more concerned about the fact that Far God chapters are continuing to vanish without trace. If they are under threat, it is our duty to offer protection. These people are not aliens but citizens with legal rights, despite Bishop's efforts to dehumanize them. Aegis Corps relocates to Seoul. In May, a criminal organization known as the Socho Gold Raiders assumed control of the Socho system, headquarters of Aegis Corps. Since then the system has descended further into chaos, culminating in the loss of services at Dantec Enterprise due to Thargoid sensor-related interference. This in turn led to the temporary immobilization of Aegis's Eagle Eye network, a system of orbital installations designed to determine potential Thargoid attack sites. In the wake of this calamity, Federal President Zachary Hudson has announced that Aegis Corps is to relocate from Socho to the Federal Home System of Seoul. In a statement broadcast directly from the White House on Mars, Hudson said, "Recent events in Socho have taught us that no matter the scale of the Thargoid threat, there will always be those more interested in fighting their fellow man than engaging the enemy. Let me be clear, we are at
Lake Romeo 8. Observe docking reservation protocols. Submit a request before landing.
The weakening of our defenses cannot be tolerated. I have therefore agreed that Aegis Corps will relocate to the Sol system, where it can be properly protected. Aegis has been charged with defending humanity, and any attempt to undermine it is nothing less than an act of treason." New Thargoid interceptor encountered. Independent pilots have reported in-game
Approach vector is nominal.
in a previously unseen type of Thargoid vessel. The Pilots Federation confirmed that several of its members have encountered the ship in both the Pleiades Nebula and the core systems. Commander Jingsheng Mendez gave this account. "My wingmate and I were both hyperdicted while traveling through the Pleiades. We assumed that together we could handle a single Thargoid ship, but this one really soaked up our firepower. I managed to get away,
Landing gear deployed.
but the Oni didn't make it. I've already started retooling my crate with the X-weapons. I want to head back out there and get some payback." Admiral Aiden Tanner, Aegis's chief military liaison, made this statement. "We can confirm that this new ship, classified as the Hydra, is a variant of the Thargoid Interceptor. It is structurally stronger than the Cyclops, Basilisk or Medusa, and
100 meters from touchdown.
releases a larger swarm of Argon drones. In response to this development, the Pilots Federation has sealed off the Cone Sector FNJ B90 system, which is believed to contain high concentration.
Touchdown. Engines disengaged. This facility is on high alert, Commander. Security level Alpha is in effect.
Of Hydra interceptors. Despite this, it is understood that the Gnosis, flagship of the Cannon Interstellar Research Group, will attempt to complete its scheduled jump into the now permit-locked system. The silence of Aisling Duval. The date of Princess Aisling Duval's wedding to Federal Ambassador Jordan Rochester has passed without comment from either party. Entertainment journalist Solomon Helios discussed the situation. Public reaction to the cancelled wedding has ranged from outrage to delight. Jasmina Halsey expressed regret at a lost opportunity for long-term peace, while Senator Zemina Torval called it the mercy killing of a catastrophically bad idea. With no word from the Imperial Palace or the White House, it's easy to imagine both Emperor Arissa and President Hudson breathing sighs of relief. But the silence from Aisling Duval and Jordan Rochester rings loudest. What might they be feeling? Was their relationship terminated against their wishes? Did it ever really exist? Naturally, I invited the princess to tell her story, but her previous openness is apparently a thing of the past. The Rochester family is also shying away from the media. Yal Torito, whose alleged affair with Aisling apparently derailed their marriage, has vanished from public sight. Was this a tragic love triangle, or just a political chess game? We may never know. But what's certain is that before long, Aisling Duval will put these failures behind her and be back in the spotlight where she belongs. Unusual energy signatures detected. 3 recently detected energy signatures have been confirmed to be of a similar nature. The engineer Antar made a statement to the media. As part of my research, I regularly review data from surveillance satellites and ships that have picked up atypical signals. Although most turn out to be of no consequence, on this occasion I have identified 3 energy signatures that I believe warrant further investigation. The signals originate from the NGC 2451A sector, the IC2391 sector, and the Sinuefi region. I have no further data. And at this time the signature's meaning remains a mystery. I encourage any independent pilots
Landing gear retracted.
operating in these regions to investigate. I do of course apologize if this turns out to be a pointless exercise, but in the pursuit of scientific knowledge, even the smallest opportunity must be explored. Engineers established in Colonia. The Colonia Council has announced that 4 engineers have established bases in the Colonia region to provide services to independent pilots. Councillor Giselle Kingspear gave a statement to the media. The Council believes it has a duty to support those who contribute so much to the region's stability. That's why we have consulted with engineers in the core systems to identify individuals who could offer similar services here in Colonia. Consequently, we now have 4 engineers at planetary bases in the region. Mel Brandon is based in Luctane and specializes in
Frameshift drive charging.
is based armaments, shields, engines and frame shift drives. Etienne Dawn in the Lost System, once lead engineer for Kraken Shield Specialists, is an expert on sensors, scanners and high-energy weapon.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Among other things. Petra Ulmanova is in the Asurus system and works with ship armor, countermeasures and explosive weapons, and Marsha Hicks, in the TIR system, offers upgrades in ballistic weaponry, fuel scoops, refineries and limpids. These engineers represent an important stage
Fuel scooping.
Colonia's continued growth. The Council hopes that
Fuel scoop disengaged.
pilots operating in the region will find them beneficial. Starport status update. This report presents the latest data on starports experiencing technical issues as a result of Thargoid sensor-related interference. The following starports are currently closed. Crown Plant, Mudra Makasi. Crown Terminal. HS 355. Fort Lawrence, XOC. Foxbase, Paya. Fragnoi Holdings, Paya. Gautier de Varens Folly, HIP 13269. Grimwood Ring, HIP 94863. Hague Port, OC. Hendok, Samantundi. Lichtenberg Dock, 3 Corvi. McLeod Hub, Nornan. McAllister Port, HR 6680. Parmet Anno Terminal, New Turi. Porges Horizons, G25034. Pre-Research Base, HIP 17225. Ross Orbital, Radomir. Sedan Gateway, Monted. Tanner Ring, Soap. Wang Platform, Parya. The following starports continue to experience
Lakon Golf Romeo 8. Permission is required before docking procedures can begin, Commander.
technical issues. Weber Dock, Mean.
Approval granted. Please make your way to landing pad 10.
To Shaviano Dock, Hapards. Thirsk Enterprise, Monted. Meanwhile, the following starports are on the brink of closure. George Lucas, Leasty. Somerset Station, Icaran. Napier Station, HIP 94863. Ready Gateway, Korovi. Abeti Platform, Ross 1051. Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. The wedding of Princess Aisling Duval and Ambassador Jordan Rochester has been cancelled. The announcement follows anti-slavery campaigner Jarl Toredo's confession that he and Aisling Duval were romantically involved for several months. Meanwhile, Lakon Spaceways has announced that a new ship, the Alliance Crusader, will go on general sale on Tuesday the 28th of August. The ship, which is based on the Alliance Chieftain, boasts 3 internal military compartments and a fighter bay. Rival technology companies Supertech and Herculean Machines have released press statements promoting new personal computer designs. Both companies have also confirmed they will be at the Rackham Ultratech Expo on Wednesday the 3rd of October, where they will reveal fully functional prototypes of their new devices. In other news, the Federal Intelligence Agency has revealed that members of the Far God cult are disappearing in large numbers. While the FIA has speculated that adherents are abandoning the cult and attempting to return to normal life, there have been no reports of former Far God worshippers returning to their friends and families. An expose published by the Mars Tribune has revealed that federal Congressman Morgan Unwin has close ties to a criminal organization. Information uncovered by the Tribune proves that Unwin used his influence to traffic drugs for the Red Family Cartel in order to keep his own addiction secret. Recent reports from the Betel system indicate that an ongoing feud between the Silver Creative Network and Betel 3 has escalated into violence. With system security forces stretched thin, both organizations are seizing the opportunity to settle old grudges, and have issued calls for support. Finally, the Colonia Council has announced that its campaign to build a new hydroponics facility has been warmly received by the galactic community. Large quantities of material were delivered to Templar Barracks over the past week, allowing the initiative to move to the construction phase. And those are the main stories this week. Lakon releases Alliance Crusader. Lakon Spaceways has announced that a new ship, the Alliance Crusader, will soon be available for purchase. Mira Kalanag, head of military projects at Lakon, gave some details to the media. The Alliance Crusader is mechanically similar to the Alliance Chieftain, with one key distinction. Our engineers have removed some internal hardware to accommodate a fighter bay. Inevitably, this means the Crusader is marginally slower and less maneuverable than its siblings, but this is compensated by its ability to ferry fighters into a conflict zone. The Crusader's offensive capabilities are enhanced with 3 internal military compartments. We are confident that the ship will be able to hold its own in any combat situation, especially against the Thargoids. The Alliance Crusader will go on general sale on Tuesday the 28th of August. Computer firms promote new designs. Rival technology companies Supertech and Herculean Machines have released press statements promoting new personal computer designs. Scorpio Devoro, CEO of Supertech, told the media about his company's forthcoming product. The talk employs cutting-edge holographic technology, surrounding you in a personalized world. Its hollow interfaces respond to subtle gestures and its flexible crystalline structure makes it as a
Touchdown, ground crew dispatched. Enjoy your stay with us.
as jewelry. By comparison, Competitors' devices are as rudimentary as pen and paper. Maddox Hurd, owner of Herculean Machines, also made a statement. Fancy holograms might look pretty, but what matters is being able to withstand whatever life throws at you. The Jura Drive is designed for those who work hard and expect their tools to stand up to the challenge. However tough you think you are, the Jura Drive is tougher. Both companies have confirmed that they will be at the Rackham Ultratech Expo on Wednesday the 3rd of October. The technology trade show, sponsored by Rackham Capital Investments, focuses on the personal device market. Both companies aim to have fully functional prototypes ready for the expo. Order restored in Kamichi. Kamichi Incorporated has announced that its campaign to clear the Kamichi system of felons has been a success. Hundreds of pilots responded to the appeal, taking to their ships to eliminate the criminals operating in the system. Authorities in Kamichi have extended their gratitude to those who participated in the operation. Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their rewards from game and port in the Kamichi system. The battle for Betel. Recent reports from the Betel system indicate that an ongoing feud between the Silver Creative Network and the Betel Free has escalated into violence. General Hollis of Betel Security issued the following statement. After a lengthy period of peace, these
Landing gear retracted.
factions are now determined to wipe one another out. As much as we want to subdue this conflict ourselves, we simply do not have the ships to stage an effective intervention. With system security forces stretched thin, both organizations are seizing the opportunity to settle old grudges, and have issued calls for support. Pilots who participate in the conflict will be generously rewarded by their chosen faction. The two factions have set out week-long operations to take control of the system, which will begin on the 23rd August 3304. Colonia Hydroponics Initiative concludes. The Colonia Council has announced that its campaign to build a new hydroponics facility has been warmly received by the galactic community. Large quantities of material were delivered to Templar Barracks over the past week, allowing the initiative to move to the construction
Frameshift drive charging.
phase. The Council's scientific advisor, Professor Diana Van Cleef, gave the following statement. Not only will this new hydroponics facility provide biofoods and super grains for the populace of Colonia,
4, 3, 2, 1.
it will also contain a dedicated research laboratory for a science team to develop new biotech crops. Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their rewards from Templar Barracks in the Randlid system. Congressman's criminal ties exposed. An exclusive
Fuel scooping.
expose published by the Mars Tribune has revealed that a member of federal Congress has close ties to a criminal organization. The extensive feature began with this summary.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Congressman Morgan Unwin has been in debt to the notorious Red Family Cartel for nearly a decade. Information uncovered by our reporters proves that he has unwon his influence to traffic enormous quantities of the cartel's drugs in order to keep his own addiction secret. Following publication of the feature, Mr. Unwin was arrested by the Federal Security Service, and now faces expulsion from Congress. An investigation into Red Family's narcotics operation in Olympus Village is also underway. A spokesperson for Congress made this statement. We are indebted to the Mars Tribune for uncovering a criminal conspiracy that might otherwise have continued undetected. This highlights the value of investigative journalism to the Federation. The Tribune's billionaire owner, Kingsley Cordova, has been invited to a special event by Congress to express its gratitude. As well as the Mars Tribune, his conglomerate Cordova Group runs many small companies in the Sol system. Far God cultists vanishing. The Federal Intelligence Agency has revealed that members of the Far God cult are disappearing in large numbers. Senior Agent Micah Whitefield told the media, on several occasions, our agents have entered hive chapels only to discover them completely empty. Intelligence from independent systems describes how entire chapters of the sect have disappeared overnight. We suspect that adherents are starting to abandon the cult and attempting to return to normal life. We urge everyone to report such individuals to the FIA, so we can investigate potential connection to the Thargoids. Dr. Jamila Griffin, of the Galactic
comply with access protocols before commencing docking procedures. Landing permission refused. Decrease range and resubmit. Approval granted. Please make your way to landing pad 2-4.
Interfaith Commune commented. Although it would be an understandable reaction to the FIA's relentless persecution, there are no reports of former Far God worshippers returning to their friends and families. These abrupt disappearances remain a mystery. Anti-cult campaigner Juanita Bishop also made a statement. It's obvious to me that these spies are returning to their Thargoid masters, to inform them of what they've learned. Arresting them isn't enough. We need a more permanent solution for these traitors. Aisling Duval wedding cancelled. Federal news
Landing gear deployed.
channels have announced that the wedding of Princess Aisling Duval and Ambassador Jordan Rochester has been cancelled. The statement came from Congress member Isol
Continue on current vector.
Rochester. The planned wedding between my son Jordan Rochester and Her Imperial Highness will no longer take place. We have contacted everyone involved with the event and closed down all related projects. The announcement follows anti-slavery campaigner Jarl Torrido's confession that he and Aisling Duval were romantically involved for several months. Torrido also claimed that the planned marriage was purely a political matter.
100 meters from touchdown.
The cancellation was confirmed by the Imperial Palace on Emerald, but there has been no direct response from Princess Duval.
Contact confirmed. Clear to disembark. Enjoy your stay with us.
For Ambassador Rochester, political journalist Cassia Carvalho of the Imperial Herald commented, "The fact that this news comes from Isolde Rochester gives weight to Jarl Torrido's claims. If the marriage was a political scheme, that may explain why the Rochester family matriarch is the one to call it off, no longer trusting Princess Duval to play her part. Or perhaps this is simply the reaction of a mother, enraged at her future daughter-in-law's infidelity. Had the marriage taken place, would it have initiated an era of federal imperial cooperation, or triggered a new wave of conflict? It seems we will never know." Starport Status Update. This report presents the latest data on starports experiencing technical issues as a result of Thargoid sensor-related interference. The following starports are currently closed: Xiang Port, Garoki Aku, Surrey Gateway, Vesuvit, Scott Station, HIP 93685, Salgari Enterprise, Mawa, Wakata Port, Wandiera, Bruce Enterprise, Kabiku, Kubasov Station, HIP 90112, McDonald Platform, Hamlet's Harmony, Thursk Enterprise.
From the station.
Landing gear retracted.
Wanted. The following starports continue to experience technical issues. Weber Dock, Mean. Meanwhile, the following starports are on the brink of closure. Crown Plant, Mudra Makasi. Crown Terminal, LHS 355. Evans Platform, HIP 18305. Fort Lawrence, XEOC. Foxbase, Paya. Fraknoi Holdings, Paya. Gautier de Varens Folly, HIP 13269. Grimwood Ring, HIP 94863. Hague Port, OC. Hengdok, Samantundi. Harrington Gateway, 45 Turi. Lathe Station, Lathe.
Frameshift drive charging.
Wittenberg Dock, 3 Corvi. McLeod Hub, Nornan. McAllister Port, HR 6680. Miller Terminal.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Parmit Anno Terminal, New Turi. Porges Horizons, G25034. Pre-research base, HIP 17225. Ross Orbital, Radomir. Seddon Gateway, Montauk.
Fuel scooping.
SOCOND. Wine platform, Paya.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Week in review. Here are this week's major stories. Campaigner Jarl Torido has disclosed that he and Princess Aisling Duval have been conducting a secret romantic relationship, despite her betrothal to Federal Ambassador Jordan Rochester. Torido claims that the princess accepted Rochester's proposal only as a means to advance her political plans. Princess Duval has refuted Torido's statement. Dr. Alfred Ulyanov, a leading exotheologian and an authority on the Far God cult, has been apprehended as a suspected Thargoid sympathizer. The Federal Intelligence Agency said that Dr. Ulyanov's involvement with the Far God cult made him a valid person of interest. Meanwhile, the Federal Times has highlighted two new personal computer designs currently in development, the Torque from Supertech, and the Duradrive from Herculean Machines. Both companies plan to reveal prototypes of their designs at a technology expo in October. A mining robot that went out of control in the Beta Hydri system has been located and disabled. MacArthur Mining Limited, which manufactures the robot, said that an inspection of the robot's remains confirmed suspicions that it had been placed in the incorrect standby mode, verifying that the malfunction was the result of human error. In other news, billionaire Zachary Rackham has been confirmed as the winner of a lottery prize of 1 billion credits. Rackham was quick to announce that he would donate his winnings to charity, although the Federal Times pointed out that the win coincided with a bill for unpaid taxes recently submitted to Rackham's company. Finally, a spokesperson for Aegis Research has announced that its rescue operation in the Pleiades has been enthusiastically assisted by the galactic community. Hundreds of pilots supported the operation by delivering stranded survivors and commodities to Don Arzok. And those are the main stories this week. Pleiades rescue operation concludes. A spokesperson for the Aegis Research has announced that its rescue operation in the Pleiades has been enthusiastically assisted by the galactic community. Hundreds of pilots supported the operation by delivering stranded survivors and commodities to Don Arzok in the Pleiades Sector IRW, D155 system. Superintendent Marla Paulson of Aegis Research released the following statement. The number of rescued survivors we have received is truly fantastic. We have also received enough food stocks to ensure that they're well taken care of, before moving them to dedicated refugee centers. Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their rewards from Don Arzok in the Pleiades Sector IRW, D155 system. Ulyanov arrested. Dr. Alfred Ulyanov, a leading exotheologian and an authority on the Far God cult, has been apprehended as a suspected Thargoid sympathizer. The arrest took place at Dr. Ulyanov's home in the Rana system, where he and his family were taken into custody by the Federal Intelligence Agency. Research materials and computer systems were also removed from the property, according to witnesses. Professor Siobhan Vogel of the Interstellar Association of Universities registered a formal complaint for Dr. Ulyanov's academic.
Romeo 8, Federal Flight Control Channel open. Observe docking protocols if you wish to land.
Studies to be viewed as evidence that he is some kind of Thargoid agent is utterly ridiculous. This violation of his rights sent.
Landing permission granted. Proceed to landing pad 17.
Dangerous precedent. Federal Intelligence Agency Senior Agent Micah Whitefield gave the following statement. When it comes to possible Thargoid allies, we cannot afford to overlook anything. Dr. Ulyanov's involvement with the Far God cult makes him a valid person of interest. We are also investigating the galactic
Approach vector is nominal.
Commune, the spiritual freedom movement and other organizations that have supported Thargoid worshippers. Juanita Bishop, whose campaign against the Far God sect has continued to attract
Landing gear deployed.
popular support, commented. This proves that there are Thargoid collaborators among us, in all walks of life. We must root them out before they start murdering innocent people. Aisling Duval's secret relationship revealed. Anti-slavery campaigner Jarl Torido has disclosed that he and Princess Aisling Duval have been conducting a secret romantic relationship, despite her betrothal to Federal Ambassador Jordan Rochester. Entertainment journalist Solomon Helios gave full details on his program. Following Jarl Torido's resignation from Unchained, I offered to tell his side of the story.
Landing complete. Engines disengaged.
declined a formal interview, he did disclose that he could no longer bear.
Clear for egress.
Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. Ready to engage. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
standard docking procedures before landing. Access granted. Cleared for landing on pad 3-9er.
being repaired.
Station services are at your disposal. You are go for departure.
Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. Flight engaged.
Lincoln Golf Romeo 8. This is an independently controlled boat, Commander. Zero 01.
Landing gear deployed. Hull integrity compromised.
Landing complete. Docking constraints engaged.
Landing gear
Ship
retracted.
restraints withdrawn. Make way for oncoming traffic.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Incoming mission critical.
Access authorized. Please head directly for Bay 2 forward. Restrictions are in effect at this facility. Please comply.
Landing gear deployed.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all visitors. Please ensure you complete docking procedures within the allocated time. safe journey to all departures. This is a flight regulation reminder. Please do not obstruct the access corridors during arrival or departure. Thank you.